One and all praises, honor, and glory to our power Yahweh. Shem Yahweh Shah, Shem Chak Wadash, double honors to the apostles, the bishops, and the elders of Great Millstone. Peace and blessings to the hopeful elect of the tabernacles of David, scattered throughout the four corners of the earth, wherever you may be, to our say Shalom, Yahshua Shalom. It's going to be brief. Just trying to get a little quick hit in while I'm doing my laundry. So I punched up a question here. I had to rephrase the question, and it actually gave me this short little answer down below. But I put in, how many countries are currently dealing with riots, uprisings, and political turmoil in 2025? And this is the answer. As of September 24, 2025, at least 90 countries are experiencing riots, uprisings, and political turmoil. 90 countries, okay? Oh, you know what? Let me ask you another question. Because I wanted to go down here to where these videos are, because I don't know what all these numbers are. I guess stuff that didn't process or whatever. I don't know. I'm not sure. Let me ask you what chat thinks about this. Would this line up with biblical prophecy? You know what? Let me ask it in specific. Written in Matthew chapter 24. Check this out. AI cannot provide interpretations of religious text or connect current events to biblical prophecies. My purpose is to provide factual information based on authoritative. Who's the authoritative source? Who created you? AI. Tell me that. Okay. I wonder if it actually give me an answer for actually that. Chat, you just. Let me. What if I take out biblical prophecy? I don't see if that'll upset the system. Probably not, because it still says Matthew. Yeah. You are referring to in order to determine if there's a correlation. Okay. So let me go and pull up the verse, because I was going to pull it up anyways. So let me read it real quick. All right, chat playing games. So go to Matthew 24 and then read it. All right. And Matthew 24:6, and ye shall hear of wars and rumors of wars. See that ye be not troubled, for all these things must come to pass, but the end is not yet. For nation shall rise against nation, and kingdom against kingdom, and there shall be famines and pestilences and earthquakes in diverse places. And all these are the beginning of sorrows. And this is the same thing you read in Luke 21. I think Luke words it kind of differently. Yep. As for these things, let me go down one more. Okay, yep. But when ye shall have wars, Luke 21:9, and commotions, be not terrified, for these things must first come to pass, but the end is not yet. But the end is not by and by. Then said he unto them, nation shall rise against nation, and kingdom against kingdom. And great earthquakes shall be in diverse places, and famines and pestilences, and fearful sights, and great signs shall there be from heaven. All right. So I should punch both of them up. 9 through 11 and 6 and 7. Let's go back to chat. And Luke 21 verses 9 through 11. See if we're going to give us something. The biblical passages you cited, Matthew 24:6 through 7, and Luke 21:9 through 11, describe a future period characterized by wars and rumors of wars. Nation will rise against nation, and kingdom against kingdom, and famines, pestilences, and earthquakes in various places. While the current global situation, with numerous countries experiencing riots, uprisings, and political turmoil, aligns with the general theme of unrest and conflict, described in these verses, it is not possible to definitively state that the current events are a direct fulfillment of these prophecies. Here's why. Prophetic interpretation. Biblical prophecies, particularly those concerning end times, are subject to various interpretations. Some interpret these verses as referring to a specific intensified period of global conflict immediately preceding the return of the Messiah, while others see them as a general description of conditions that will persist throughout history until that time. Okay, which neither one are exactly right, but the second one is most definitely more on point because the first one is not things that are going to happen after Yahushua returns. These are things, that's why they're called prophecies, to say before. And these signs that have been given are signs of the return of the Lord, okay? Signs of the return of the Lord. So yeah, so the second one will be more on point, right, with the scriptures. Things that are going to happen leading up to the event of the return of the Messiah, not things that are going to happen after. Because when the Lord returns, Babylon's destroyed, the nations are taken down in their armies, the elect are delivered, and then the kingdoms is going to be established. So these things are already going to be cooking up and leading up. That's why it's called the time of Jacob's trouble. Okay, but he shall be saved out of it. He is the hopeful elect remnant of the nation of Israel. Okay. Historical context. Throughout history, there have always been periods of wars, political instability, and natural disasters. Many historical eras could be argued to fit the description in these verses. Specificity. The prophecies are broad in nature, while nation rising against nation and kingdom against kingdom can encompass political turmoil and uprisings. They don't specify the exact nature or scale of these events. Matter of fact, there's another scripture in Second Esdras, probably both 15 and 16. I was thinking about 15. Maybe I'll see if what the response would be if I ask about that. Beginning of birth pains, both Matthew 24 and 8 and Mark 13 and 8 refer to these events as the beginning of birth pains. These suggest that while they are significant, they are precursors to even greater events. Yeah, Jacob's trouble, and then World War III. Lack of definitive markers. The Bible does not provide specific dates or unambiguous. Yeah, of course not. The Lord never provides dates. What he provides is the text written in the scriptures to give us a sign of the time period we're living in. See, that's what Yahushua spoke about. You can discern the face of the sky, but you don't know what time you're living in. The Bible does not provide specific dates or unambiguous markers that would allow for a precise, real-time identification of these prophecies being fulfilled. And furthermore, when you talk about the return of the Messiah, not even Yahushua himself knows when he's coming back. Okay. Therefore, while the current global unrest resonates with the themes of these biblical passages, it would be an interpretive leap to declare them a definitive fulfillment without further theological and eschatological context. Many religious scholars and theologians would caution against such definitive pronouncements. Who died and made them governor of biblical prophecies, emphasizing that the exact time and nature of prophetic fulfillment are often understood in hindsight or through a broader understanding of biblical eschatology. All right. So, but we know these scholars don't know the prophecies. So you know what? Let's do this. Let's try to fiddle around with Chat's mind for a minute. His computer mind. Might have to punch it up. Yeah. So let me just go do this and I'll pull up Esdras, as the guys say when you play audio Bible. Esdras. And I want. Let's see what we can throw at chat from 15 or 16. Oh, you know what? Here's a good one. Yeah, perfect. We'll throw this at him. Yep, the water help us shot. Oh yeah, perfect. Second Esdras 15 and 15. Start at 14. Woe to the world and them that dwell therein. Woe, destruction. All right, that's what's coming. Chaos. For the sword in their destruction draweth nigh, and one people shall stand up and fight against another, and swords in their hands. And that's what we see. 90 countries. Okay, I had a clip I was gonna play from I forgot where it was. It was like 8 minutes long. Just talking about their turmoil. But yeah, you know, some of these countries are, well, not some, because we just read what it was 90. So you got people, you know, going crazy all over the planet. 90 countries in specific. And that's 2025. Because I wanted it to give me a real answer. Because I know if you don't kind of specify things, it would jump, you know, with history and all that kind of stuff. So it might be from They might give you an answer from 2020, to 2023 or something like that. Just give me 2025, and still it popped up to say 90 countries. Yep. They shall stand up and fight against another, and swords in their hands. For there shall be sedition among people. Among men, and invading one another. They shall not regard their kings nor princes, and the course of their actions shall stand in their power. Yeah, that's what these people are doing. Okay, they're complaining about their current living situation, money or housing or something like that. They're complaining about wars. They're complaining about, I don't know, the veterans of previous wars. They're complaining about political issues. They're complaining about leaders. Okay, they're complaining about race. Okay, social status. So all these different things bring strife, bring differences. Okay, so these people are complaining and they're rising up, just like the scripture said that they would do. Okay, so let me throw this at chat real quick. Just 15, 16. Second Esdras chapter 15 verses 15 to 16. Now let's see what he'll say, or it will say. The question asked to compare the current global situation of riots, uprisings, and political turmoil with a specific passage from Second Esdras. Yes, now chat is in the game. Now chat, he just shot a 3-point on it. Yes, the current global situation of widespread riots, uprisings, I guess because that was most of, talking about diseases, famines, earthquakes, and, like war, actual war. So this is more in line, okay, with it. So yes, the current global situation of widespread riots, uprisings, and political turmoil in 2025 aligns with the prophetic. Now all of a sudden you can speak about prophecy. You can't tell me chat ain't controlled by somebody, man. Okay, because chat didn't create itself. Okay, somebody had to program it. All right, like you got a car. A car got all these different gets and gadgets and functions, but you know what? It also has a chip. It has a brain. Okay, without the brain, hey, if you turn that key over, you're gonna see all kinds of stuff happening. You sput lights is flickering. You got all your lights on your dashboard because the brain is breaking down what every part should do, every function should do. Without the brain, your car is stupid. Okay, but anyways, it says these verses state, "For there shall be sedition among men," and we didn't get the word sedition. Let me go back real quick. Which we going into the word over and over, but never know, someone might be new. Let's get the word sedition here. Yep, conduct or speech inciting people to rebel against the authority of a state or monarch. All right, and always use the example of Bane in the Batman movie, Batman 3. Okay, we said, "Will you accept this man's recognition? All right, and take back your city." Okay, that was inciting speech to get people riled up to do something against the city or authority or whatever. And what happened? You had people of Gotham that were on one side, and then you had people of Gotham that were on the other side. Okay, people that sided with what the police were doing, and people that was like, hell yeah, let's rise up. Okay, so that's what happens though. That's the same thing that the so-called elite do. They create a situation so crafty that it always puts the people against one another instead of everybody looking towards who the culprit really is, which is them. All right, the top Idumeans on the planet. Origin Latin ire. Okay, IRE. Later Latin sed, meaning apart. Iscio, going, apart or going apart. Seditio, going apart. Old French Latin equivalent later on, seditio, which means going apart. Okay. By late Middle English, it became sedition, meaning violent strife, because that's what these people are doing. Okay, they're protesting from America back to the east. 90 countries, it said, right? So yeah, violent strife. That's what's happening in the earth. So these verses state, "For there shall be sedition among men, and invading one another. They shall not regard their kings nor princes, and the course of their actions shall stand in their power." Yeah, See, that's what happened. People get together and say, you know what, we're not okay with this. We're not happy with this. We're going to rise up and stand up against these, and we're going to do this. Okay, and that's where the different protests come in. That's where the riots come in, and that's exactly what you see happening right here in America and across seas, man. Okay, but the average person is not taking account of these things. It says a man shall desire to go. I didn't even think I put that verse in there. That was the next. Well, we put in 15, 16. So Chad's quoting 17, if I'm correct. That was 17. Let me go over there. Yeah, a man shall desire to go into a city and shall not be able. For because of their pride, the city shall be troubled, the houses shall be destroyed, and men shall be afraid. Well, excuse me, chat. I guess I put 17 and 18 in there too. Okay. Well, that is probably, yeah, because it says, a man shall have no pity upon his neighbor, but shall destroy their houses with the sword and spoil their goods because of the lack of bread and for great tribulation. And that's where Esau's going to swoop in and say, hey, I got the solution. Okay, he's going to pull his Beetlejuice. Yeah, it's showtime. And he's going to offer everybody that see him. See? That's the hour of temptation. Let me go back over here and see what chat talking about. The phrase sedition among men and invading one another directly corresponds to the numerous instances of civil unrest. See? Protests and internal conflicts occurring across many nations. The disregard for kings nor princes reflects the widespread challenges to governmental authority and leadership seen in various political upheavals. Furthermore, the inability for a man to desire to go into a city and should not be able can be interpreted as a metaphor for the disruption of normal life. Yeah, because like if there's a city just going bonkers, you're not going to want to travel there. Okay, it's no different than like when because across seas you'll have wars, and so the American like if you look at the flight pattern things, I forget exactly what it's called, but they'll advise you not to go to this place. Like, don't take a flight here, don't take a flight there, and if you're here, then you need to exit there and I guess come back home to America or go wherever. But because of missiles and rockets and bombs are flying. All right, these people are at conflict with one another, so they'll shut down certain flights or they'll advise American citizens. All right, I forget exactly what the name of that is when you check out these flight paths and places and stuff like that. So it says a man to desire to go into a city and should not be able can be interpreted as a metaphor for the disruption of normal life. It's like, hold on, 'cause I'm just cooking. I'm all kinds of sweating. And bear with me 2 seconds. My goodness. It says it can be interpreted as a metaphor for the disruption of normal life, travel. We just talked about travel, right? And societal function due to ongoing instability, conflict, and security concerns. And oh, you see, yeah, because that lines up what we just talked about. You see, they'll advise people not to take a flight here, or flights would just be completely shut down from going certain places where there are two countries at conflict with one another. Yep. And societal function due to ongoing instability, conflict, and security concerns in many regions. The extensive list of countries experiencing such conditions in 2025, as detailed in the previous response, provides empirical evidence that supports the broad and general nature of the prophecy in 2 Esdras 15 through 16. Okay? And actually leads us back to Bible Gateway. You know what? Let me see what I do if we change that to 19. Will chat give us anything different or anything extra or whatever the case may be? The passage in 2nd Esdras chapter 15 verses 15 through 19 describes a period of widespread global distress with people rising up against one another, cities being destroyed, and a general sense of chaos and lack of peace. And that's what these people are doing. Like when you see these people protest, protest and riot in one, okay? Protest and riot, protest, okay? You see them throwing barricades, throwing bottles, throwing all kinds of stuff that hurts. Some things, sometimes throwing stuff that doesn't hurt, water and ice, and they're tearing up cities, tearing up streets, busting out windows, jumping and stomping on cop cars, and so they are tearing up cities. Cities being destroyed and a general sense of chaos and lack of peace. And what did the Lord say? Let me see if I can punch that up. I think that's in Matthew. Think not that I, is that it? Come to send peace on earth. Yep. Matthew 10:34. Yep, think not that I am come to send peace on the earth. I came not to send peace, but a sword. For I am come to set a man at variance against his father, and the daughter against her mother, and the daughter-in-law against her mother-in-law. Yeah, because you have these people out here going crazy against one another. But then you got to factor in the faithful believers versus the non-believers, because your family could be non-believers. Your family could be the ones to give you up to the authorities in the time of Jacob's trouble, get you carted off to a FEMA camp or whatever. Okay, so there's different levels to it. I should just pull up the whole this thing is all of a sudden moving slow. Okay, and then men's foes, see, shall be they of his own household. He that loveth father or mother more than me is not worthy of me, and he that loveth son or daughter more than me is not worthy of me. Now, I mean, you hate your family. Of course, we all love our family, but we've all come to the conclusion, or we probably should have by now. We all come to the conclusion that, hey, if our families have to be sent back to the spiritual realm, then it is what it is. Okay, they'll be all right in the kingdom, but I got to make sure that I follow the path. All right, I got to follow the Lamb whithersoever he goeth, because I have hopes of being of the hopeful elect, right? And he that taketh not his cross and followeth after me is not worthy of me. You see, drinking of that cup, man. Persecution, slander. Uh, uh. Well, I guess I was going to say something else, but that falls in line with persecution. You know, the enemies, because the scriptures speak about they hunt our steps. Let me pull that one up real quick. Okay. Bear with the thing. Just he that findeth his life shall lose it, and he that loseth his life for my sake shall find it, because he's coming to give everlasting life. All right, hunt our steps. There we go, right here. Lamentations 4. Oh yeah, I got the right button. And 18. They hunt our steps, that we cannot go in our streets. Our end is near, our days are fulfilled, for our end is come. Our persecutors are swifter than the eagles of the heaven. They pursued us upon the mountains. They lay wait for us in the wilderness. And this really cries a lot out when you speak about Esau, okay? Because the scriptures speak about how he has a perpetual hatred for us, okay? He has a perpetual hatred for us, and he kept that anger forever. And so to this very day, all right, the biggest plan of these elites, so-called, all right, is always trying to take us down, all right, because they want their birthright. Uh, Psalms 144:6, cast forth lightning and scatter them, shoot out thine arrows and destroy them, send thine hand from above, rid me and deliver me out of great waters, from the hand of strange children. Who's these strange children? That's the Edomites, man. Okay, just weird, okay, and evil, okay, just because they call the border of wickedness, the devil, the wicked of the earth, the border of wickedness. Actually, it says there, but it does call them wicked straight out. But wicked, border of wickedness, devil, um, slander, false accuser, the accuser of our brethren, um, Lucifer. I don't know. I'm probably missing a few, but you get the point. Strange children is another one. Okay. You know what? Let me go to the blue. I want to see what this strange children goes into if I pull up the blue. I know we kind of moving off the top here, but it's okay. We just kind of flew in the spirit there. I just had a question. I always find it interesting to fiddle around with chat's brain, computer brain. Come on, give me some of that computer love. Yeah, blue letter don't want to pull up. Let's see if we can pull it up. Let me get rid of this one. Yeah, blue letter don't want to pull up, man. But anyways, because I don't really care about the brief. Let me see here. Oh, what am I doing? Actually, you know what? I ain't gonna do that. I was about to just pull it up. Yeah, all snap. Okay. So all of a sudden everything's jacked up, huh? Anyways, strange children whose mouth speaketh vanity, and their right hand is a right hand of falsehood. Okay, so there you go. I just wanted to, yeah, we can just read those two verses. Let me go back over here. Where was I? Everything all moving janky and stuff right now. Cause I don't think we're gonna get that blue letter up. Yeah, it's all good. Let's go back over here. Oh, they took us away from the whole entire. Okay, here we go. That's not even what I wanted. What was the question I asked? I don't even remember what. This is the original question. It took us away from the original question. What the hell was the question? Actually, I believe this is it. So yeah, yep, cities being destroyed and a general sense of chaos and lack of peace. While the specific number of countries is not mentioned in the biblical text, the description of the whole earth being in disarray and men shall fight against one another aligns with the concept of a large number of nations experiencing conflict and turmoil. Therefore, the current estimate of at least 90 countries dealing with riots, uprisings, and political turmoil in 2025 could be seen as consistent with the prophetic tone and broad scope of the events described in 2 Esdras chapter 15, verses 15 to 19, which speaks of widespread global unrest rather than isolated incidents. See, there's always some videos down here. Ironically, none of them about the riots. What happens if we back up to the previous thing? Yeah, see, what to know about the mass protests in Naples. Great Britain is Great Britain about to explode in civil war? That was 3 months ago, though. That was 2 months. Togo anti-president anger. Screaming right to what the topic is. This one is only 13 days ago. Let's just see what it says real quick.
Hundreds of thousands of protesters in Nepal. Some of whom were killed in the process, were setting fire all over the capital, major government buildings being broken into a flame. The prime minister quit, fled the country. All of this seemed as if it began with a simple protest by young people, what they're calling the Gen Z or Gen Z protest, about the government's decision to shut off 26 social media platforms. What we learned is that was really only the very beginning of it. On the first day of the protests, security forces opened fire, and at least 19 young people died. After that, the protesters were angry in an entirely new way. But before they took to the streets, there were already deep grievances besides the social media ban. Nepal is in the grips of a terrible crisis of unemployment that makes it very hard for a lot of young people, especially, to find any work to pay for any of the needs that their families have. And the place where most people seem to lay blame for that is on the corruption of Nepal's elites. All of their houses were burned. Many of them were attacked. The fact that so many people...
See, is that not straight 2 Esdras? What we were reading, 15 through 19? Okay, and other countries, it said 90 countries, but I mean, I'm referring to other clips that I've seen, all right, with other places, that you can just pretty much pull right on up, all right, in YouTube or wherever, okay, and you see people rioting and protesting, all right, against their leaders, all right, against their current living situation, or it's something, all right, political issues, all right, everybody's rising up about something.
Many known entities in Nepali society have been hunted down. It's shocking. And then eventually, when the Nepal army came out in force to declare that it was responsible for law and order, we were able to see heavily armed police and soldiers carefully encircling blocks of protesters. So as the army tries to assert its control against this unexpected eruption of anger on the streets, we don't really know what the next steps are. It's going to be especially interesting to see how this country comes out of this moment crisis.
Yep, so there you go. So we could probably, well, I don't think we even need to pull that back up. Let's see. Let's ask one more question. I'll see what chat will say if I ask you this. Is America on the brink of a civil war or civil unrest? I guess it's about the same. Let's see what it says here. While there are varying perspectives on the current state of political and social divisions in the United States, most authoritative sources do not indicate that America is on the brink of a civil war. Yeah, okay. However, there is significant concern regarding increased political polarization, social unrest, and the potential for politically motivated violence. I mean, what else do you call it then? Several factors contribute to the ongoing discussions about the stability of the United States. Political polarization. The country has experienced a deepening partisan divide with increasing ideological separation between the two major political parties. This polarization is evident in public discourse, legislative gridlock, and differing views on fundamental issues. Social unrest and protest. The past few years have seen numerous instances of social unrest and protest, often sparked by issues such as these are things we mentioned, racial injustice, police brutality, economic inequality, and political grievances. These are all the same things we mentioned. See? While these events can be disruptive, they are generally considered expressions of dissent within a democratic framework rather than precursors to civil war. Yeah, whatever you say. Rise to, what does the prophecy say? Rise to extremist groups. There has been a documented rise in the activity and visibility of various extremist groups. And you know who they say is the number one extremist groups? Those black Israelites. Black Israelites, right? Yeah. They label us under that, okay? Extremist groups, both on the far right and far left. But now this is talking political, but they do label us under that. Some of whom advocate for violence or radical societal change. We don't do that, okay? Scripture say the weapons of our warfare are not carnal, all right? For us to wait upon the Lord till he rises up to the prey. The January 6th because remember in Psalms 83rd chapter calls them his enemies. So if we're his people, we'll let him deal with his enemies because he's our protection anyways. The January 6th Capitol attack is often cited as a significant example of politically motivated violence. Rhetoric and misinformation. The spread of inflammatory rhetoric and misinformation, particularly through social media, is seen by many as exacerbating divisions and fueling distrust in institutions. Historical context. Experts often compare current tensions to historical periods of significant unrest, such as the Civil Rights Movement or the Vietnam War era, noting that while divisions are sharp, they do not necessarily equate to an impending civil war. The scale and nature of the current divisions are different from those that led to the American Civil War in the 19th century, which involved a clear geographical and ideological split over the institution of slavery. While the term Civil War implies a large-scale organized armed conflict between factions within a country, which is not currently observed or widely predicted by mainstream analyses, the potential for continued or escalated civil unrest and politically motivated violence remains a significant concern for many observers and policymakers. Yeah, because all you gotta do is just look around and see the things that are happening. Okay, we're headed to that point. U.S., UK, Poland, Ireland, Australia witness big anti-migrant protests. There's one right there. You see, what's fueling anti-migrant protests in the West? See, that was 14 days ago. Not even long. All right, and these are some of the same videos, or there's more videos. Bloodshed in Nepal, however you pronounce it, Nepal. Nepal is burning, explained, which we just watched a video on that. So yeah, we don't have to get into all that extra. So yeah, so just stemming from that one question, how many countries are currently dealing with ICE uprising and political turmoil in 2025, and then we kind of manipulated the question a little bit to aim it at 2nd Esdras chapter 15, verses 15 through 19, which we started with Matthew 24, 6 to 7, and Luke 21, 9 through 11, but we ended up with 2nd Esdras 15 being more pinpoint accurate. So we're going to leave it at that. Lord willing, you were edified. To next time, Yashua, I'm going to say shalom.